Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Pitstick at soulproof.com, sharing information, answers to the most commonly asked questions about life, death, and afterlife. And we're talking now about death and afterlife, part 2. Is there a really afterlife? And will you see your departed loved ones again? The answers are yes and yes, and there's a vast and varied amount of evidence that irrefutably proves that. There's no doubt about it. The evidence is out there. I've just been the guy that assembled all of them, put it together, and sharing the great news. So we talked about near-death experiences in the previous video. Now we're talking about after-death contacts, or ADCs, in which departed loved ones, in one way or another, will contact those left behind, will make their presence known. That can be with the 5 senses. The person who's on earth can actually see the departed loved one sometime, especially in the peripheral vision or in a gauzy form. They can smell a fragrance that they associate very strongly with the person who's departed. Sometimes they can hear their voice aloud, like you're hearing mine right now. Other times the after-death contacts will involve more ethereal senses, seeing them in their mind's eye, hearing them in their head, a telepathic understanding, a feeling of their presence. And often after-death contacts occur during dreams, lucid dreams in which the person who's sleeping feels no doubt that they had a contact with the departed person, that they were visiting each other in a spiritual realm, so to speak. Well, there are, as always, I look for validated or documented aspects of each one of these categories, and there are these in after-death contacts. First, what we call shared ADCs. This would be where more than one person at a time sees the departed loved ones. One example of this is told by Dr. Raymond Moody, author of Life After Life, father of near-death experience research. He tells of a French psychologist who was using a psychomantium, which he describes in his book, Reunions, which facilitates these after-death contacts, a dimly lighted area. And so the subject was sitting and seeing in this large mirror a departed loved one. Well, the researcher, one of the most prominent psychologists in France, peeked in to see if she was done yet and looked at the mirror and saw the very same apparition. So again, this is a shared after-death contact. Other after-death contacts are evidential. That is, there's some evidence involved. Bill and Judy Guggenheim, in their book Hello from Heaven, tell about a woman whose neighbor was killed the day before in a car wreck. She walked into her room, and there he was in pretty much full form. And he told her, I have an insurance policy that I never told my wife about. It's taped to the back of a drawer, and I want her to know about it so she can use it. No one else knew about this information. The woman was afraid that the wife would think she was crazy, but she told her this information. They went into the bedroom, and sure enough, there was this insurance policy taped up where the spirit of this deceased man told her. So again, evidence is revealed that couldn't be known any other way. Some of the most impressive ADCs, though, are personal. There's no scientific aspect to it, but the person who has it has no doubt. For example, my own mother, on the anniversary of my dad's death, was standing in the kitchen in her condo. All the doors and windows were locked, and she was standing there and all of a sudden was pinched forcefully and firmly on her behind. Well, she whirled around totally expecting to see my dad, because throughout their 60 years together, he always would pinch her butt. And she actually said, Bill Pitstick, that has to be you. Nobody else would touch me there. And she knew without a doubt that there had been a contact from Dad. So these are very, very common, by the way, the after-death contacts. 33% of Americans in general have had them. 66% of widows or widowers, and a full 75% of parents whose children have died have had these after-death contacts. And the last category I want to share with you, just to help you understand just how much more evidence there is the scientific category. Many top scientists believed in and had evidence for belief in an afterlife. Thomas Edison, in the last 11 years of his life, worked on an apparatus to enable communication with inhabitants of formless realms. And And when he died, he was in a coma for a long time. He woke up briefly just before he died and said, "It is very beautiful over there," and then went out. What a cool way to go. Albert Einstein said, "Any scientist who seriously studies life concludes there is a spirit involved in life." Max Planck, founder of quantum physics, says spirit is the basis, the foundation of all life, of all matter. These are top scientists. Gary Schwartz, PhD, former Yale and Harvard professor, now at University of Arizona, has performed numerous double-blind, strictly controlled studies that show without a doubt probability of 1 in 1 trillion that some mediums can facilitate communication with the other side. They're able to relay information from those who have died to their loved ones. And again, his research has been totally checked out by scientists. It's videotaped. There are no flaws in his research, but this is not known. Likewise with Ian Stevenson, MD, chairman of the University of Virginia Medical School, 60 years of research looking at past life events, 3,000 cases of children who said, you know, before I was with you, my name was this, and I lived in this country. Dr. Stevenson and his team investigated these cases and found that indeed the facts were as stated. Often they would take the child to their previous city or country, and the child would recognize who was their children in the previous life, who was their spouse, where they had hidden money that no one else knew about, sharing intimate details that only that departed loved person would know. In about 38 cases, there are matching birth defects that match the death wounds. For example, a child would be born with a birthmark small in the front and large in the back. And when they examine the medical records of the person who died, that person was shot from the front, the entrance wound being smaller than the exit wound. So again, even Ian Stevenson, many books on that. The point is there's so much research out there. This is the great news that sets us free. So we don't have to search anymore. It's really out there that helps us know, yes, there is an afterlife. Yes, we'll see loved ones again. Life is eternal, and we're in the midst of that right now. Lots of benefits, helps us realize life is this fascinating adventure, so we can relax into it. We can release any fears of death or hell or things like that and let our light shine and enjoy this wonderful life that we have. You can learn much more about this from my book and documentary, Soul Proof. Thank you for sharing it with others.